This legislation, like so many that have come before us today, are very important for the people of my district, and I think for the protection of consumers throughout the state of New York. Like many of my colleagues here, I have had constituents who have suffered unfair claim settlement practices. They received no response from their insurance companies, were unable to get someone to come out to their property. They were denied without explanations. And I think that the pieces of legislation we are putting forth today, including this one, are the initial steps we need to take to reform New York's laws to put the consumer before the insurance companies. And I believe this legislation is a good one because during a declared disaster emergency, we should be acting with a sense of urgency. And that's exactly what this legislation does. And I know the question was brought up earlier, well, why those during a declared state of emergency as opposed to another emergency such as a fire or an individual catastrophe that one person is experiencing? Well, the answer also could be that FEMA requires you to get a determination from your insurance company before you can get funds from FEMA. So I've had many constituents who have been in limbo waiting for funds from their insurance company, and as a result, their applications for FEMA were also delayed, and it really put them in financial situation where they couldn't afford to rebuild for months later, and many are still not in their homes because they're still dealing with the red tape of FEMA and the insurance companies. And now we're moving forward with the Sandy aid package. The city has finally moved forward and put out their criteria and applications, but that also deals with just the unmet need. So we're still waiting for the insurance companies to determine what that unmet need will be and how much we will need from the federal Sandy money. I want to commend the sponsor, Assemblyman Tatone, for his diligence, and I know he has been working on numerous drafts to make this the final draft to come before us today. So I commend him for his effort on this legislation. I also want to commend my other colleagues from Staten Island, Assemblyman Michael Cusick and Joe Borelli, who together we served on the Insurance Committee hearing with Assemblyman Cahill, and I thank him for coming out to Staten Island and speaking firsthand with our constituents to put forth the package that we're voting on today. I urge my colleagues to please take a moment and think about what my constituents and what those who have suffered through this devastation are experiencing, because until it happens to your district and your constituents, it's really hard to be in our shoes. So I ask you to please consider voting for this legislation. I certainly will be doing so. Thank you.